A Guide to Turkish Sausages and Mustards. I remember the first morning I stepped into a covered market on the Asian side of Istanbul, still half dark, before the city's pulse quickened. The air was thick with crushed garlic and toasted cumin, a smell that cut straight through the sleep in my bones. Rows of crimson, tightly tied sausages hung from iron hooks in a butcher's stall, catching the first weak light. They looked almost too perfect, too full of intention to just be food. And they were not just food. We are talking about a craft that has no room for shortcuts. Behind that intoxicating scent sits more than 1,000 years of drying, salting, and fermenting meat into something that could outlast harsh winters and long journeys. This is not a story about industrial processing or rushed breakfast strips. It is about how generations of cooks turned necessity into a flavor so distinctive that it still defines the first meal of the day in homes from Kayseri to Berlin. And it all begins with the sausage itself, Sucuk, the soul of Turkish charcuterie, understanding Sucuk. Most of the world keeps meat with smoke. We built a sausage that keeps itself with bacteria, salt, and thyme. Sucuk is a preservation marvel that never needed a smokehouse. The craft was already documented by the 11th century when Mahmud al-Kashgari recorded it in his Diwan Lugat al-Turk. But the impulse goes deeper, back to Turkic herders who needed meat to survive long journeys and bitter winters without ice. What they created was a dense, fermented beef sausage that transforms a handful of pantry spices into something that hums with intensity. The secret lies in the mosaic texture. Beef and fat are milled so finely, down to grains of 1.6 to 5 millimeter, that when you slice a properly cured sukuk, the surface looks less like ground meat and more like polished stone shot through with ruby red pepper. Into that frame goes a fearless spice mix: crushed garlic, toasted cumin, pulbiber, and black pepper. No fillers, no smoke, just meat, fat, and a fermentation process driven by lactic acid bacteria. That fermentation is what makes Sucuk safe, tangy, and sliceable. As the sausage hangs and dries, the pH drops to an acidic 4.8 to 5.2, sharp enough to block pathogens and firm enough to give each round a clean bite. Salt and garlic do some heavy lifting too, but the real work is microbial. The result is a sausage that tastes alive, with a sour, spicy warmth that fills a pan the moment it hits heat. While this foundational technique defines the sausage, geography creates unique variations across the country, regional varieties and their roots. Our geography forced the issue. Anatolia does not offer one climate, one pasture, or one palate, so we never built one sausage. Kayseri set the standard. This is the heartland for premium beef-based sukuk, where thin mountain air and steady winds cured a lean, deep crimson round that tastes of patience and precision. No other region has matched its ferocious control of fermentation, dropping pH to that sharp, tangy band that locks in safety and bite. Afyonkarahisar became the powerhouse. Western Anatolia's production hub proved that volume and reverence could coexist, flooding markets with sukuk that never lost the garlic and cumin soul. Then the shapes told their own story. The Kangal ring shape is the classic, the coiled, cured sentinel hanging in every market from Istanbul to Izmir. But the Parmak finger variety did something bolder. 2 straight linked sausages, leaner and sharper, built for those who want a quicker hit of heat and spice. The southeast refused to follow. In Gaziantep and Hatay, where lamb is king, they blended sheep meat into the grind, lifting the fat content and deepening the pepper profile to match the warmer climate and local livestock. These regional signatures are not just variations, they are messages. Each one tells you how the sausage will be eaten, and with what. Beyond the plate, perfect pairings and traditions. We never let richness go unanswered. That is the rule. Turkish cuisine demands balance. We never needed a jar of mustard to find it. We built a sharper, more distributed system. Sumac is our acid, carrying welcome and tartness across 34 dishes in the Hatay kitchens alone. Tursu pickles bring the crunch and bite that cuts through even the fattiest kangal. And yogurt-based sauces, they cool the heat without dulling a single spice. At home, the tradition strips back further. A cast-iron sahan hits the flame. Sucuk rounds sizzle in nothing but their own rendered fat, turning crimson and crisp at the edges. A cracked egg slips into the pan to mop up the oil, the paprika, the garlic. We didn't need mustard. We built something better, right there in the pan, on the table, and in every morning that starts with the scent of cumin and sizzling meat. The fermentation, the drying, the patient months of waiting. These are not lost arts. They are alive in every street-side stall where a vendor slices sucuk into steaming bread, the paprika-stained oil dripping onto the crust. We didn't let the craft fossilize in rural kitchens. We carried it into the cities, the bazaars, the breakfasts of millions. What started as a way to preserve meat through Anatolian winters is now a global benchmark for bold, honest charcuterie. Turkish sausage transcends food. It is a cultural handshake, a shared memory, a reminder that the best things are built with time and spice and pride.